Okay, mic check, mic check, mic check. Should be able to hear. Also see the screen. Welcome, Mr. Blue here, TradePhantoms.com. Today's date is a new July 1st, 2025. Hopefully everybody had a good June and beginning of this week. I'll be probably about an hour or so, do some pre-market prep, maybe trade the open right off the open if there's a couple of trades, taking opportunities, if they're available there. I'll start this off a bit more formally here. Institutional order flows, the backdrop, main strategy of TradePhantoms.com. Top-down multiple time frame analysis, always starting with the higher time frames, monthly, weekly, daily. I've got a couple of color codes here. So if you see anything that you see on my charts regarding their color code, orange is going to be the monthly time frame association. Weekly is going to be yellow, daily is going to be blue. I bring this up every single day, every single morning, no matter where I am in the live trade room, on YouTube or social media, or even in the live trade rooms officially at Phantoms. A bunch of fancy names, bullish candlesticks, location, obviously being most important, location and context. I want to be looking for those in demand in the context of uptrends. Bearish candlesticks, a bunch of fancy names, location being most important as well. Supply in the context of downtrends for the most part. We get the liquidity map, super important. Understanding this is key, and usually park that over here to the left. And this will typically get referenced multiple times per day as we kind of go through things here. As mentioned, it's July 1st, so that means the month of June is over. And so always, the reason why I bring that up is always check your higher time frame closing candles, right? So as of yesterday, the monthly candle, as you can see here, I got trading view. So I got monthly on the left, weekly here in the middle, daily, monthly, weekly, daily. It's kind of very similar in regard to Thinkorswim as well, or TradeStation or TradeAvate, whatever broker I kind of pull up. Okay, but anyways, keep in mind that the monthly candle has closed, and make sure you see where that has closed, the formation that is printed, so on and so forth, as we carry on into the new month of June. That said, we will get to the charts here. Let me just do that. What the heck? Okay. Let's get to the charts. Anybody's options depth not working this morning? I can't get June up. Anybody's options depth not giving you June for today, at least, I should say. All right, we got to move on here. Start out with futures. Major 4 indexes here. All right, so kind of obnoxious with all the lines here, but got the S&P futures upper left, NASDAQ upper right, Dow Jones lower left, Russell 2000, snooze fest, Russell small caps down here, not participating in anything here. So S&P, NASDAQ, major 2 indexes out of the 4 that have been doing quite well. Okay, daily time frame of the S&P futures here is what you see, and for the sake of time, not going all the way back here, but it's been beautifully riding the 20-pay moving average, just making nice higher high, higher lows. So that's that blue line, kind of like right here. Okay, and last week was pretty interesting in that we kind of gapped down right into a couple levels of demand on the intermediate time frame. We got some drops, some basing, some rallies here. 20-pay moving average. This was last week. We gapped down right, kind of inside week all or inside multiple inside days last week, but the week prior. Last Monday, we gapped down, had a nice bullish positive COG bar. The reason why I bring that up is because we had beautiful fall through for last week. Okay, so the team and I have been focusing mainly on longs, bullish. Okay, in strong tickers, so on and so forth. We got a couple of stocks in the Mag 7 that are at all-time highs. You're gonna get like Microsoft, Meta just clicked out an all-time highs. That was one of the major focuses of last week for the team and I. Nvidia, all-time highs. Broadcom, AVGO, all-time highs. so on and so forth, right? So QQQ's SPY's all-time highs, a couple other tickers as well, all-time highs. Anyways, so this is the S&P futures daily time frame here. So when you have these big stocks that are making close to all-time highs, minus Apple, minus Amazon at the moment, minus Google, minus Tesla, okay. Of course, some are not making all-time high. Get JP Morgan, very big stock, okay, all-time highs, so on and so forth. So some are making all-time highs, some are not quite. However, S&Ps did indeed make all-time highs, SPYs, SPX in the S&P futures. Okay. Now you're looking at this candle or daily time frame here, right? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Basically all last week. Okay, even if you include yesterday being Monday, green bar up, green bar up, green bar up. So okay, indeed, at some point, this market would have to come down and kind of retest a little bit here. Okay, or come down and mean revert, I should say. Okay, keep an eye on that 20-pay moving average right there, just as a filter and as a mean reversion tag hit point. We also have, what was once this level right here, 61.10. Okay, that was being it was a high before a previous pullback, and then we finally broke that, made a new high right here. So I have this 6109 in the S&P futures. Okay, as a quote unquote retest level. In the event that we do kind of pull down or pull back, anywhere between the early part this week or maybe later this week or maybe even early part next week. Okay, have yesterday's high here, yesterday's low here, map out our Globex high, Globex low. Okay, but just because this looks like it is, this thing needs to kind of at some point pull back doesn't mean that it's going to potentially today, right? So we haven't even broke yesterday's low. We have a couple of daily lows in here, yesterday's low, like a Friday's low here. Thursday's low. I'm not going to go through every single day. Got a couple levels down in here too, right? I got a level right here, 61.26. I know this might be hard to see. Call it 61.25, give or take, for a potential liquidity sweep that could potentially bring us down into the 61.10. Okay, for breaking this kind of daily lows here. Again, we'll have to look at some impulse, fresh level of demand there for what's called a potential Globex trap. Okay, in the event that we do pull down, okay, or pull back. Okay. Other than that, nothing to the left in terms of we're in the all-time highs. So we're in the abyss of all-time highs, meaning that there's no objective level to the left for supply. There's no objective level of supply to the left, I should say, to lean against to really short into this market. So the only way that you can really catch this is what's called Fibonacci extensions, or maybe outside of some Bollinger Bands, 2 standard deviations. So again, yeah. So. That'd be kind of a topic that I would need a little more time to explain. Okay, but that's going to be a tough one to do. But yes, of course, there's going to be some at some point some mean reversion taking effect into this market. Let me see. As a news catalyst, I already checked this morning, but let me just show you all here real quick, I guess. Where am I? ForexFactor.com here. All right. So we got today, right? We do have Fed chair speaking 9:30 a.m. Eastern. Okay, so that's the thing there. Just panel discussion, policy panel with the ECB over there in ECB. Okay, as well. Okay, so we're gonna be talking today, what have you. Okay, we do also have today JOLTS job openings and ISM manufacturing PMI at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So you definitely want to put a note on that, because that's going to be 30 minutes after the regular trading open at 9:30 a.m. Eastern New York time. And so if you have some trades that are already on, you might want to tighten up or reduce some exposure, what have you, as these two news announcements hits come up during that time, 10 a.m. Eastern. So definitely noteworthy there. Okay. So here's the NASDAQ, same thing in the all-time high abyss, nothing to the left objectively. Okay, we get this 20-period moving average here, just as a guide. Okay, it's been working beautifully, just as your pullbacks, right? New highs, pullbacks, new high, pullback, new high, pullback, new high, pullback, new high. Okay, potential pullback imminent. Okay, but this market could continue to potentially just kind of grind its way higher. Okay, as well. Okay, so still again tough to short at the moment. Okay, maybe a little scalp here and there, but be careful with that. All right, switching over to the monthly. All right, got monthly here, weekly here, daily here, monthly, weekly, daily. Now I'm going to drop down to the 60-minute time frame. You'll notice here, okay, I got the 60-minute time frame upper left. I got the 30-minute time frame bottom left here, followed by a 5-minute here, and a 2-minute time frame here in the bottom right. And pop up on the 60. And one of the first things we want to do is map out what's called our overnight high, overnight low, Globex high, Globex low. Okay, again, 1 hour time frame here at the S&P. I usually take this blue line here to bring this over into the right hand side. This is the Globex high. Here is the Globex low. All right, Thinkorswim kind of grades this overnight session so you can see the difference, to distinguish the difference. And yeah, so institutional level of demand below the Globex low is what we'll kind of be looking for here in regard to a setup. If I look down, okay, and left, we do have this daily low, which was on Friday. We had a flush late, or kind of late Friday, if you will. Okay, S&P's flushed out. Okay, it had that daily low right here. Okay, so that comes in at about what is it? 81. I'm sorry, 61, 83.25. All right, just a daily low. Friday's low. Now this could be used as a potential sweep. So if you notice, right below that daily low, 61.83.25. Okay, we have a couple levels of rally. Here's a bit of a basing, a nice little rally, which happened last week, June 26th. Okay, comes in at about 61.66. All right, so that could be a decent level here for not only a Globex trap sweep, but also this daily low sweep. All right, we could reference this level, of course, being Friday's low. Okay, get the 83 handle. All right, and they also have another level here of 61.80 below here. All right, so here's current price here. So if you look, if I kind of zoom in here, there's a bit of an impulse, a basing, and an impulse right here. 61.80 S&P futures. Switch down to a 30-minute time frame here. All right, this guy right here. I'll just take this ellipse right there if you're tracking. Okay, so it's kind of two levels, long levels here, 61.80, 61.66. In the event that we break the Globex low, could be a little daily sweep, a level right below there. Okay, and this could be bullish for some G-trap longs. All right, now some of you folks that are at Phantoms maybe a little bit more aggressive. Okay, there is a little baby level at 61. I'm sorry, 62. Apologies, 62. I kind of call it 15. There's a little aggressive level of demand right there, super aggressive. So I want to be a bit careful on that one, but you can reference the 62.20 if you want to be a little bit more aggressive as well. There's another little baby level right in here, call it 61 even. All right, I want to be careful with these two levels here, but these could be decent for a sneaky little Globex trap as well. I'll reference this one here, 62.01. Again, I'm still going to put an aggressive notation on this. It was called a Globex trap long. We cover that with due time in the focus classes at Phantoms. So that's kind of a bit of what you're looking at here. Okay, here's the Globex low again, referenced by that blue line there. We also have, of course, yesterday's low being right here, so that could be another little liquidity sweep right below that level. Okay, yeah, and the idea here is that the thesis on this setup is trying to have people who, as markets move down into a institutional level of demand below the Globex low, people who try to sell short into that breakout lower into levels of demand in the context of a raging bull, uptrend at the moment right now. Right? Markets are at all-time highs. Okay, as people you think you can't go any higher, and they sell short any kind of red bars down into a level of demand, and we're going to trap them, right? Trap them. So very powerful. If we do happen to get lower, even lower, I'm not sure if this is going to happen this week, but again, we get that 61.09 as I referenced over here as well. Okay, which is a deeper level lower. All right, but we get these bridges and levels to potentially break or hold up here before that even happens. So we'll save some time there. NASDAQ, I'll go quicker here. I'm going to go straight to the Globex high, Globex low, map that out, represented by these blue lines here. There's the Globex high. Well, actually, before I kind of move this, you can see even on Friday, the last trading session that I had with the group, okay, we had a Globex high here, we had a Globex low right here, and this was a impulse, basing impulse, okay? That was a G-trap for Friday, and as markets sliced down below that Globex low, right into that impulse, basing impulse, right here, institutional level demand, okay, 22,615, we had that mapped out, came right into that level, okay, and that happens to be Friday's low, okay, which popped out beautifully here, okay, and then of course yesterday we made new all-time highs, okay, so very powerful there. See the pre and the post, okay. Here's the new Globex high for this morning, this AM, July 1st. Here's the new Globex low right now, okay. Now we can still reference this level, 615, 22,615 NASDAQ futures, 1 hour time frame here, okay. But this is a little bit more aggressive now because this is what's called, it's not the first time back, first test, if you will. If you spent any time with Mr. Black on TikTok or on socials, okay, talks about that a lot. So we can still reference this, but I'm going to put a notation here, asterisk, for what's called aggressive, due to it's not prime. Okay. And there's rules and all that for what all that means. What market's about to open up fairly soon. Okay, that's the 615 handle. And then if we do happen to come lower, we get this daily low here. Excuse me. $22,387 handle ish. We also have another daily low right in here as well. All right. So again, I'm just kind of mapping out some key levels here below the Globex low for in the event that we snap this lower, right? A couple levels in here. So basically call it the 22,500. There's a couple levels down here on the NASDAQ. All right. So even if we happen to get lower down here, that 22,565 right below that daily low, if it wanted to sift out some more liquidity, might be a little sweet spot right there. The 565 handle. I'll make that kind of a different color green, so it kind of sticks out a little bit there. Maybe that helped a little bit. All right, 22,565. All right, nice little sweet spot right there. All right, NASDAQ futures again, tough one to short. Okay, and of course, there's going to be a bigger fade lower at some point, but tough one there. All right, I'll go over gold futures really briefly. Check out the VIX and go through some other tickers as well. All right, gold up. I was talking about this weekly level for quite some time. I actually wanted to see if it can come a little bit lower. I know it's hard to see here on this, but monthly here, weekly here, daily here. GLD might be a little bit more cleaner as there's not so many notes on the chart. All right, GLD is the ETF of gold. Still a bunch of notes on here, but I got the monthly here, weekly here, daily here. And not as organized as what I would like here, but I was kind of looking at this lower range level here. I got the weekly here in the middle. Got a couple monthly lows in here. Monthly low, last month's low, which was May. Now we have a June low right in here as well that I have to update. But the lower range, I was kind of hoping that it got down here. We came up to this weekly level here that I had pinned, 300 basically. Okay, right in here. And that was last week's low. As you can see, we kind of dipped down. I was mentioning it to the team. I was actually hoping it came down a little bit more lower to get a little bit more size or really deploy some position size. Okay, but as you can see, pre-market quote kind of gap. We're gapping back up here. So you can see gold futures are up already 1.5% up already, up above that, right? So we kind of dipped down. I got yellow levels down in here, a couple of weekly levels. Okay, we had a weekly low down in here. Last week's low came down, swiped that really quick for some liquidity. Okay, and try to build up some more gold here, right? So we had this retest level, 3250s. Okay, a couple of pullback levels, 3287s, 3272s. And again, when I see a bunch of yellow and orange, in this particular case, yellow down here, okay, let me know that we're getting down to some lower time frames, right? So even on GLD, I had a weekly level, okay, and futures here in yellow, weekly level. So this was pretty powerful, if you will. I was mentioning that if we get down to this 32 handle, 3250-ish, 3270, could be a nice little location here to build up some more swings, not only day trades, but swing trade longs. Okay, so as you can see, we rally back up. I gotta clean this chart up here. But if I were to just map out the Globex high, Globex low, just really briefly here, here's the Globex low. We're gonna do the same thing that we do in the Nasdaq and the S&Ps. You can do that for gold futures as well. Here happens to be the Globex low right here. Here's the Globex high. Here, and if we happen to break that Globex low, okay, again, we still have these levels down here inside of the yellow. These would be potentially G-trap longs. So 3287 still have these on the board here. However, if we don't happen to break the Globex low, we do have a couple of. If I look at current price down and left, okay, impulse basing impulse, 3330. I already have a line there. I kind of broke deeper lower down here. It's an old line anyways, but it just happens to line up here this morning for a decent little pullback level of demand for said gold futures. I'm on a 1 hour time frame, by the way. Okay, we have another level lower in here as well. A couple levels on levels in here. All right, now that's the Globex low level itself, 3310. Okay. And then again, if we snap that Globex low, I have this drop. This is a bit of a basing test on the weeklies here, and 33. I'll just round up to 32. I'll round up to 32.90 just to round up there to kind of keep that simple there. So again, I'm still going to be looking for a pullback to enter long pullbacks on gold, not only GLD but in futures as well. This one lines up with the first G trap here today, 32.90. If we happen to get down here. All right, but a couple levels. We had these levels. Doink, just bounces, inevitably came down into the weeklies down here. So that is what we were looking at there. For a G-trap short, if I look up above the Globex high represented by that blue line right here, look up and left, we got 3,400. We do have some levels here that have been it's mid-range. It's been tested multiple times, but this 3420 handle gold futures is acting as a pretty significant key level, if you will. Kind of a lot of time spent here, etc. So it's not the greatest level. However, this could be a aggressive G-trap short. I'd be extremely careful with this level. You almost want to look for fresh liquidity above here, probably a ton of stop losses here, and look for this drop, this drop right above here. Call it 3434 handle. All right, this could be a bit more better as there could potentially be some new liquidity. Drop right above all this junk here. All All right, this 3330 is a nice little area here, location here, 3330, 3320, for a nice little mean revert in the event that we do pull back in here. Pretty decent. All right, cool. VWAP right there. VIX, where you at? VIX down, market up. VIX up, market down. Inverse correlation. A lot more to that. But to keep it simple for right now, yesterday's high, yesterday's low. VIX, we're painting a 17. VIX, market at all-time highs. So not as much fear right now, but if you were to, looks like it might be a bit of a quiet July. We get the the tariff deadlines, etc. Coming up soon, right? So we'll see. Fed's talking, kind of move the inflation hit number up. So, there's some things working in the backdrop there. All right. But for today, let me just map out the overnight high, overnight low in VIX. Here's the overnight high. So you can see VIX up about 3%, give or take. So suggesting the market might be a little heavy off the open this morning, just a little bit. We'll see how this pans out. Here's the gap. I'll just use this level right here. Here's the gap up. All right, so VIX continues to remain up and maybe takes out its overnight highs and continues to trend higher. That could be a bit more, just bearish for the market for the day, give or take, right? Or for the morning, right? If VIX kind of fades and drops lower and goes below this kind of a new day overnight low here, kind of fills this gap and goes lower, that could be more bullish for the market. So an inverse correlation opposite, right? One of the key things that you track there. SPYs, SPY. Again, I got a ton of notes here, but again, usually I don't pull up the monthlies as much, but I got a new monthly bar opened here today, July 1, closing June. And you can see, got monthly on the left, got weekly in the middle, got daily on the right. So just massive recovery, one of the fastest in history. I think it's the second to 1956 was it or something like that. Okay, so kind of crazy, massive 20% drop, and then as you can see over the last week or two, new all-time highs in SPYs and Nasdaq, right? So solid June bar close off the back of May after March and April's kind of a quick drop, right? Mainly due to tariffs, etc. All right, so we're back up here now, right? New monthly bar close. Now, if I'm looking at the monthly just really quickly, all right, this was once the previous all-time high. Now this is the new all-time high, at least for right now. If we make another new high, that'll be another new high. So that could still be fresh paint, right? It's still wet, right? It's still wet. It's not dry yet, if you will, right? Because if today we pop a new high, then that could actually be the new all-time high before we pull back. So pull back imminent, right? Now don't be so itchy on that, right? Again, we could just continue to kind of drift higher, if you will. However, the point that I'm trying to make here is as we closed, right? Because this is going to be a new candle open this morning here, being July 1 now, right? This is June's close, so I got June high here. I got June low here now. Okay, just updating your charts. And one of the first things that we could potentially already be looking at for even if you'll notice in a moment the futures are down. Well, you already know that futures are down, and I'll go to SPYs and daily time frame in a moment here. Okay, but this all-time high, which came in at what 613.23, give or take, right? Yeah, give or take, right? We could be using this as a potential retest on the other side, right? Just for today, like on an intraday kind of scale, if you will. All right, if I go to the weekly. Weekly time frame, we still have a bunch of unfilled gaps lower down here, but again, that's not going to be happening, today, of course. Nice little solid week last week to punch out these new highs. We had this impulse bar here. Then prior to last week, we had these two kind of red bars here, kind of topping tails here. Not topping tails, but kind of some wicks up here. Red bar. It still was holding this this weekly green bar close here. So we had this kind of consolidation, if you will. Then last week we swiped the prior week's low real quick, right? Put in a positive COG last Monday, and that's it. The bulls were out, and we just took it to a new high, right? So again, there's our retest level here, 613. In the event that we wanted to retest some weeklies, all right, I got the 604, call it the 605s right here, yellow. Okay, and again, if you're new to the YouTube, what have you, welcome first and foremost. But again, this is why I have these color codes here: orange, yellow, and blue. Right. So this was a monthly high. It was also February's high. Okay, orange. We broke that. There's our retest level number one. In the event that we do come lower, okay, we have a couple of weekly highs from 2-3 weeks ago, give or take. Okay, that actually needed a break. Okay, and then we only had this one level right here that needed a break, all-time high here. So again, retest level one, retest level two, 605 would be number two down here in yellow. And then, of course, up here today, if not into tomorrow, Wednesday, okay, 613 handle could be of interest potentially here today, right? If I go to the daily time frame, here's a daily. All right, monthly, weekly, daily. Okay, and you can see we're on a new high. Okay, yes, pullback imminent. Okay, pullback imminent. When, where, and why is that going to happen? All right, there goes our retest 613 on the all-time high, right there in orange. Okay, and then these are the weeklies. Okay, retest there in yellows. Okay, however, you see here's current price, right? Here's yesterday's high, yesterday's low. Okay, close of June's high there. Okay, close here, gapping down. Okay, still going to be inside gap. Okay, still going to be inside gap. Now, I'm sure there's a ton of people that are looking to potentially like just try to short this, day traders and shorter term traders. Like, oh, this market has to come down. This market has to come down. So just watch out with that, right? This could be a digestion day or two. Okay, or three potentially, and then we could, and then, just reference these over here, right? Even on these like new highs, okay, red bar, then we could be inside day for a couple days here, right? And even on these swipe lowers, okay, they could on these swipes, okay, it could grind back up, okay. So just be careful with jumping the gun on a potential short. Okay, that's just my humble advice at the moment. Okay, now I'm not saying I won't do that. Okay, but just be patient. Be patient with that. So we have an open close here, gap down here today. Okay, still inside gap. I'd watch out for a liquidity sweep right below yesterday's low. Okay, being Monday. Okay, and then there goes that monthly retest right there, sweet spot. Okay, then we have another daily low right here. Comes in at about 610.84. So these are a couple levels here, just in the monthly, in the daily time frame, and the weekly. But there's no weekly levels in here. Not tweak it down here. That just a list for today could be used as some potential hit points. Okay, if short, TP to cover, and we could get some liquidity sweeps, flushes. Okay, daily time frame of SPY here. All right. I don't know. See off the open if this thing can get back up. And 2.26. Well, doesn't matter. Usually I get the SPX implied open. All right, Qs, very similar. All right, all-time high retest would be here on the other side now. A couple of daily lows in here. Pre-market quote, gap down, still inside gap. Again, if the VIX is not really screaming to the upside, be very patient with these move downs. Another little daily low right there for a little bit of a liquidity sweep. All right, just kind of covered GLD already for the most part. Bonds creeping a bit. We got 5 minutes before the open. Bonds up, yield down. Apple, tough one to trade as of late. Save some time here. Inside month, inside week for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks. Mother bar high, mother bar low here. 6 weeks inside bar. Apple's just been basing on most time frames there. Amazon trying to pop out. Decent little close last week, trying to participate in the all-time high league. Trying to do that. Yesterday being Monday, kind of gave back a lot of Friday's work. Okay, daily time for monthly, weekly, daily. Slight gap down. I shouldn't even say there's much of a gap there. You know, Amazon on the weekly, nice weekly close last week. Decent monthly close too, breaking above last month's high and March's high here. Okay, weekly gave us a nice little solid green bar close. Got a pullback yesterday, so pretty interesting to see if Amazon's going to potentially fall through. Higher. It might want to come lower before going higher. So interesting there. The gap's not telling much here this morning. Broadcom all-time high. Been really working on this for several weeks now. Has not had a down week in quite some time. Good solid monthly close. Of course, we got new all-time highs on this bad boy. All right, previous all-time high retested on the other side, all the way down here. The 250 handle. We're trading 275. All right, another weekly was once an all-time high as well, right there. That's broken. This could be used as retesting the side 265. I'm not sure if it's going to happen today. Unfilled gap here. Close here, gap down here today. Still inside gap. Watch out for a liquidity sweep today here below this low. Potential trapping some shorts as if it's going to fill that gap. And it could be a sweep. Google. Again, similar to Amazon, trying to join maybe potentially the all-time high party club here. Decent monthly close last month. Couldn't even get above May's high here and sustain, at least on the monthly bar close. You know, weekly gave us a nice little positive COG, similarly to the to Amazon. Trying to go nice pullback yesterday off of this. Google's one of those tickers that if it goes, it really goes, but sometimes it can be a little bit annoying because of the chop in the range, how it's been trading. Slight cap down. Tesla in the news. Typically always is. All right, gap down on this. We got a low monthly range down here at the 280 handle. Microsoft, one of the ones with all-time highs. Switch this over here. put a daily on the left and the 2 on the right. Switch my screen. Let's see. Let's see. All right, let me get some internals here really briefly. All right, let me see if this OD is okay. I guess it's not working today. All right, VIX off its highs. Advance declines negative 443, but on an uptick at the moment. Not extreme. Let's see. Tesla getting smacked a little bit here. Kept down for the month here, under the 200 peer moving average. Meta pulling back off its all-time high. It's coming into a level, however, on the intermediate meta, that is. AVGO, this thing's not catching up, but AVGO bid ask is 280s, 290s. Not AVGO, AMD. Also puts on AMD for a swing. See, I'm missing meta here. Friday's a holiday. If you want to maybe pick up a 30 delta, give or take 745 or a 742 half one meta long call. It's already hit the level here. It's on its VWAP. Let me see. If I take this 742 half meta, this thing already at the low of the levels going for about 294, give or take. See if I could throw in a 350 bid on this 742 half meta long call here. I'll throw in a 350 bid on that. All right, they're going for 395 now. Because ideally it would have been nice to snipe in right as it hit the level. All right, AMD down. We have some Phantoms members that are in this short. For a swing. All right, so you can see those are going pretty well here. All right. All right, so some folks could even potentially take some profit off of AMD. If you're in that swing, long put swing trade. All right, AMD down, as you can see. All right. We got on this on the 26th, 27th there. All right, meta filled. Let me get to some other account here. All right, we'll see how that goes. I don't like the wide range bar open here, so we'll see if the intermediate. It already bounced, which is why I limited in on that. It already bounced off this intermediate level. On the 60-minute time frame. So let's see. Nice AMD down, lower. New low on AMD. Palantir lower. Watch out for this meta trade. I'll be patient with it. But don't like that reaction off of VWAP. So I want to see how this responds at a new low. If that happens. Tesla is up over here near. This could be a bit of a trap here. If Tesla swipes up here, this could be a bull trap. Potential bull trap here. Leaning into a bearish trade, and even Tesla gets up to this 302 half, 305 here. What's going on with all these services, man? They're with the new month break their system or something. Why is everything not updating to the new month? There we go. Amazon trying to do something here. This is this day. We got a little bit of a fakey breaky bar here. I want to be a little bit more patient with the bullish exposure, at least for right now. Nothing's really screaming at me at the moment, folks, in regard to a setup. Unless I'm missing, how's the crypto plays? Amazon looking like it wants to have some fall through here, long call. Meta's trying to pop. Let's see if I get the at the money's Amazon here, 220 strike, give or take. They're going for about $2. SPY's trying to pop. Meta is profitable a little bit there. Internals increasingly decent. And I'll send this out here, Amazon. Let me just check. We got news in 10 minutes too. That's the thing, right? So Amazon trying to do its thing. Apple, Gonzo, but it's actually trying to start to actually like hold and start to break. It has not been the case for multiple weeks. Now this trade has been a failed trade for six weeks, so just be careful with that. This is the mother bar all the way over here on the weekly. So again, this looks like it wants to break out, but has been a failed breakout for multiple weeks. So is this going to be the week? Not sure. If you're playing it, then there might be a loss or two or three. That has been the case, as it did not follow through. Monthly, weekly, daily, but maybe a new month of July could potentially give Apple some rebirth strength. We'll see. Boring open at the moment. So Tesla coming into, did not pull the trigger on Amazon. If you were to lean into this 292 half on Tessie, 30 Delta going for about 440. Just level into this major VWAP here. Just want to fade this move on this. This is a long put on Tesla. Leaning into that VWAP, that major VWAP. It's already going for like $4. So if you pick up this 492 half on Tessie, could go a little higher. You might be able to get these for like 350 maybe. It's still a kind of weird, odd trade. just very choppy. But if you pick these up here, Tesla 292 half. We'll go light size on this. Meta pop. So we got a TP some meta. So odd right now. TP some meta. TP some more meta here if you have it. All right, news is out or coming out. Let's see if this thing moves anything here. Long meta picked up a little bit of some puts on Tesla here. Light. Boring. VIX on lows. I'm about to fall asleep. This is boring as Tesla's squeezing on the bad news. I'm just gonna have to cut this. There's no falter on it. Meta as well. Reduce that. Apple out of all tickers. That's kind of falling through a bit. Weird. All right. If this thing makes a new low here, below 370, I'm just gonna get out. All right. On premium. This is the put premium. So if Tesla makes another new high on that spike, which it's probably going to happen, just get out. All right. And outright. Yeah, another account. Tesla stopped out. First dominant bar print is in. Basing above yesterday's VWAP, which is this week's VWAP. This is an annoying open. This is weird. This is weird. Holiday week, markets all-time highs. Long-term portfolios are healthy. Summer solace. End of Q2 strong. Entering Q3 today, July 1. Beginning of the month, beginning of the quarter. Nothing. Markets all-time highs. So pretty quiescent. I'm about to bang out of here. I got shit to do, and I don't really see much here as crushing Forex. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pips. I'm up like 700 pips on a long GBP USD trade that I told people from many moons ago to just get long. I actually got to take some profit on GBP USD. Euro is a beast right now. All right, I'm going to head out of here, folks. Took a weird trade on Tesla, loss. And Meta took a little baby trade. I'm still in, but it's nothing crazy. And the AMD swings that we got in last week are looking pretty good on AMD. So cool. If you want to learn a little bit more about this is the most weirdest session on YouTube's history. So it's not usually like this, but if you go to TradePhantoms.com, click on the register button there. And this Thursday before July 4th, July 3rd, 2.5 days away from now, name, email, click register, you get sent to the link, Mr. Black or Mr. Green, sometimes both of them, you have the pleasure of both of them together, kind of going over this as an agenda. Y'all can read that. Short-term trading, long-term wealth management, stocks, futures, forex, options, multi-direction, up, down, sideways, even, which I'm probably even going to sell some credits here today, assuming the VIX is kind of remaining calm. Maybe just monitor and do some things around the house, unpacking the move still, getting there day by day. And other than that, Mr. Blue out. I'll see some of y'all later in the afternoon. Trade safe, kind of weird, quiescent. Trading options, just be careful. Theta decay is going to be hard to navigate as Delta's not moving as much. So maybe want to do some futures, Delta 1 products, S&P and NASDAQ. Other than that, folks, I'll see some of y'all. I use the same strategy for Forex, man. When I always laugh at that question. Do you use the same strategy in this? I use the same strategy in Bitcoin and crypto, anything, man, because it's just it's just buyers and sellers, folks. So after you've been doing this for so long, I mean, it's boring. It's like just buyers and sellers. Of course, I use the same strategy. It's just buying and selling. This is buying and selling, demand, supply. Right side and ride liquidity. It's buying and selling. Demand, supply. All right, folks. But yes, indeed, I do. All right, I'm out of here. I'll see y'all when I see y'all. God bless. Take care. Blue out. Peace. Stay safe.